What's up guys, and welcome to the start of, I guess I'm going to call it a sub-series of Sun and Moon coverage, and this is Mega Evolution Speculation. I did something very similar, or pretty much exactly the same, before ORAS came out, so in the run to ORAS, which was discussing and speculating on loads of different types of Megas, different possibilities. So basically I'm going to go through all the possible Pokemon that could get Mega Evolutions. This isn't going to be a thing of, yes, these are the Pokemon that are likely to get Mega Evolutions in Sun and Moon. I might highlight them as I go through, but this is more of a, I'm going to go over all the possibilities. There's loads of them, literally loads, so it's going to be a very long video series, and it should take us up to, pretty much until the games come out, because I'm planning on doing 1 or 2 episodes a week, going all the way through Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, and of course Kalos we can do now as well. So I'm going to go through all the way from there, starting at the start, ending at the end. That would only make sense. So it's going to be a very long running video series, and it's sort of, I guess you could call it filler for Sun and Moon coverage, because it's not actually covering the games. But these are, I always find it really fun to discuss possibilities for Mega Evolutions, because there are so many different ones. There are sensible ones like Flygon, and then there are crazy ones like a Mega Smeargle or something like that. So generally I just really have loads of fun doing this. Hopefully you guys find this interesting as well. Obviously if you don't find it interesting, then obviously you probably won't watch this video. But if you do, feel free to watch this video series, and as I discussed it all basically, comment down below in the comment section and say like, oh yeah, this Mega seems like it could be possible, it seems like this, see like a Mega Smeargle with, I don't know, Trace or something, that would be really cool. But you guys get the idea. So I'm just going to go through, and starting at Kanto, and we'll just go on through and start discussing some Mega Evolutions. So the first Pokemon that's possible to get Mega Evolution, of course, obviously the ones that haven't got them yet, is Mega Butterfree. Now, I think there's actually a fairly likely Mega Evolution to happen at some point in Generation 7, since we have Mega Beedrill that came along in ORAS. So Mega Butterfree would only make sense if they are eventually going to, make all Mega Evolutions have some sort of sense to them. So the pairs get Mega Evolutions, all the starters do. That makes sense. And then if you it's like giving Nidoqueen a Mega Evolution and not giving Nidoking a Mega Evolution, because they are paired. So Mega Butterfree is very possible for at some point in Generation 7. Obviously normal Butterfree is Bug Flying type, so what type could Mega Butterfree be? Well, obviously it could carry on and just be a simple Bug Flying type as well, or it could change its type, and I only got one other typing listed here, which is Bug Psychic. I feel like this would be a very interesting one for Butterfree to have, because obviously, as I mentioned, normal Butterfree Bug Flying, but it also learns it as Confusion at a fairly low level, and it can also learn stuff like Psychic, so I feel like Bug Psychic would be very interesting to have. We have had Bug Psychics before, I think at least, but I'm pretty sure we have, but it would be very interesting to see a Bug Psychic, especially on Mega Butterfree, because then it would help it parallel Mega Beedrill, which is obviously a Bug Poison type, and it kept that typing when it Mega Evolved. So of course Butterfree could keep the Bug Flying type, or it could go to Bug Psychic. The design won't really, some types you can't, it's like saying, oh yeah, Mega Butterfree, Bug Fire, obviously the design I've got here listed for Mega Butterfree, this design would not work if it was going to be Bug Fire, but both Bug Flying and Bug Psychic work for this, possible Mega design, because of course it doesn't really Bug Psychic, you don't necessarily need any Psychic-like features, whereas, as I mentioned, a Fire type on the Butterfree would obviously make it look really weird if it was this design. So what stat changes could we see for Mega Butterfree? Well, obviously Mega Beedrill had a attack stat increase and a speed increase, as well as defense lowering. So obviously Mega Butterfree, to parallel that, would probably have an increase in special attack and special defense, so boosting its special side rather than its physical side. It could sort of lose physical attack and speed as well if you wanted to be like a nice bulky bug, and that would obviously parallel Beedrill even better if it was a very slow but tanky bug Mega Evolution, and that might be interesting to see. And obviously you could combo this with its ability as well. I've got a couple listed here as possibilities. It could carry across one of its normal abilities, which is Compound Eyes, which increases accuracy, which would be a good move, because it would it would allow you to use moves that haven't got 100% accuracy anyway. So it would be a good move, be a good ability is what I mean to say there. But obviously it's not the best ability necessarily. Other possibilities I thought of is Clear Body. This would obviously depend on the design slightly, because it would have to have like clear wings, which would obviously make sense, but Clear Body would obviously stop it having no stat reductions, which might be helpful for a tanky Pokemon, to save you getting lowered on your defenses and such. Or the last ability I've got listed here is Magic Guard, which means it doesn't take a damage from anything apart from physical attacks. So Sandstorm, Burn, Poison wouldn't affect Mega Butterfree, which would help because obviously if being tanky you don't exactly want to get Toxic Poison. That helps with Clefable, for example, and it would just be be an extra thing as well. So I feel like Magic Guard would be a very interesting ability to have for Mega Butterfree, or it could just, as I mentioned, carry across Compound Eyes. But that's Mega Butterfree. Let me know what you think about it down below. Do you expect Mega Butterfree because we have Mega Beedrill, or do you think they're just gonna do Megas here and there and not actually do all of the, oh yes, we got to do all the pairs? Let me know what you think about that down below. But for now, let's move on to the next Mega Evolution we're going to talk about, which is Mega Raticate. Yes, not the most likely of Mega Evolutions, but discussing it or thinking about it, there are actually quite a few interesting possibilities for it. Obviously, it's a pure normal type to begin with, but when it Mega Evolves, you could have some nice, interesting types. It could stay normal. When we have Mega Pidgeot, it went to normal flying, could stay like that exactly. Or you could have a very nice interesting type for Mega Raticate. Being a rat, there are two possibilities I see for that. Either normal poison, because poison type, rats are sort of dirty creatures, you can catch diseases from them, poison. Or normal dark type, because again rats live in sewers and sort of dark, damp places like that. So the dark type makes a lot of sense there. And those were both, I think Raticate gets Poison Fang, which obviously would help for stab there, and it gets Bite and Crunch, I think, as well, which would definitely help with the Dark type. So both of those are possibilities, all three of those possibilities, because it doesn't necessarily have to, not all Megas need to get an extra type. Mega Aggron loses a type, so, there's loads of possibilities there. Stat change wise, I would see an increase in their physical attack and speed, because that's what Raticate, would, it's what, looking at it, that's what, it's not going to be a special attacker, it's not going to be bulky, so attack and speed, so it can run around and do decent damage. Ability wise, I've got a few ideas. First is Simple, which is a bit of a weird one, but because Raticate is one of the original Pokemon, I guess, it's a very simple typing, so Simple would be an interesting ability to have, which is random stat changes, similar to, I can't think of who else has Simple off the top of my head. I think it's Bidoof and Bibarel's hidden ability, but Simple would be interesting to see because any battle could go any way. You could have an increase in attack or a decrease in attack, either way could happen, and it would be a very random factor to the Mega Evolution, which would obviously make it, wouldn't make it the best Mega Evolution, but it would still be very interesting to use, because sub battles you would absolutely destroy because you might get a sharp increase in attack, or some battles you might lose because you get lowered speed and attack, for example. Other ideas for the ability, Moxie was another strong one I thought about, because obviously, as I mentioned, attack and speed are its stings, so if it's a nice fast Pokemon that can do some decent damage, if you take a Pokemon out, get a Moxie boost, you're going to be nice and fast, have raised attack, which means you might be able to use it as a sweeping Mega Evolution. Obviously not necessarily the best because it's not that defensive, and obviously the opponent would then have to think about that and say, okay, so if I've got boosted attack, I have to send something in that can deal with Mega Raticate. Oh, I know, I'll send in this Pokemon that can, whatever. So that might be an interesting ability to use, because you could either use Mega Raticate to really get rolling through the opponent, or it could be used simply to just do some damage over time. The last one I thought that was Strong Jaw. Obviously Tyrantrum gets this, but I feel like Mega Raticate would really, it would benefit a lot from it, obviously, because Bite, Crunch, Poison Fang, as I mentioned, Fire Fang, Ice Fang if it gets them. But Strong Jaw would be really interesting in there, because obviously Hyper Fang might get a boost. I'm not sure if Strong Jaw boosts Hyper Fang, but if it did, that would be a very powerful move, assuming it keeps the normal type. A Strong Jaw, stat boosted Hyper Fang, that would be nasty. So I really, I think that would be really interesting to see how it would work on Mega Raticate. Obviously, if, for example, the stat changes also lowered its physical defense, so it's sort of like Mega Beedrill, very fast, very high attacking, but obviously low defense, so you have to sort of get in there and do damage before they can do damage back to you. As I mentioned, Mega Raticate, not the most likely of Pokemon, so I don't see it happening, but it would be really interesting if it did happen, because there are a few possibilities there. The next Mega Evolution we're looking at is Mega Fearow. Similar to Rattata, it's not that likely happening, I don't really see it happening, but there are a few ideas I have for it. It would probably keep the same typing and when it Mega Evolved as a normal flying type, because why change it? What are you going to change it to? You can't get rid of the flying type because it's obviously a bird, and what are you going to change the normal type to? Rock? Nothing works really, so I would say it keeping exactly the same typing. Stat changes would probably be similar to Mega Raticate, as in it would have increased attack and increased speed, because what else are you going to do with Mega Fearow? You know, are you going to boost its defenses? Probably not. Are you going to, boost its special attack? Probably not. Attack and speed is sort of the basic sort of thing we have for Mega Fearow. Stat change wise, as I just mentioned, are exactly the same. I just mentioned that. What am I talking about? Ability wise is what I meant to say. It could carry across its hidden ability, I think it is, which is Sniper, which ups the power of critical hits. So that would be good, because then again it would be sort of similar to Raticate with Simple. Would be, sometimes it works well if you get a critical hit, because it's going to get very powerful, or it could, just be okay if you don't get the right sort of procs of the ability off. But also it could get, another ability. One I thought of is Sheer Force, which obviously powers up attacks with secondary effects, but ignores those secondary effects, because Mega Fearow isn't really the Pokemon you'd want to be sort of messing around with stat changes. It's sort of just the one you'd want to do a lot of damage with, so Sheer Force will work with it very well. And the other one I thought of was Reckless, because I think that obviously Mega Fearow probably learns Double Edge, and I'm not sure if it gets any other sort of recoil moves, but obviously Reckless would up the power of those moves and allow Mega Fearow to do lots and lots of damage, although it would take a lot of recoil. But what else you can use Mega Fearow for? It's not really the Pokemon you're gonna have sitting in battle for a long time doing sustained damage. It's more of a Pokemon you would send in, use Double Edge with Reckless, and boom, do a lot of damage, and that would be Mega Fearow sort of thing. Or then after you switch out and heal it up sort of thing. But I feel like obviously Sniper could be possible. Sheer Force or Reckless would be very good for Mega Fearow, because it would just allow it to do lots of extra damage basically. But as I mentioned, I don't see Mega Fearow as much of a possibility, because Fearow is sort of a Pokemon that's been forgotten about. It doesn't really seem to be a Pokemon that fits Mega Evolution too much. But this next Pokemon is one I would love to see a Mega Evolution for, and that is Arbok and a Mega Arbok. So obviously Arbok, pure poison. Possibilities for the typing for Mega Arbok, obviously there's Mega Art is very much essencing one of them, which is Poison Fire typing, because I think that would be really cool to see from Mega Arbok. As you can see for this design, the flaming eyes from the chest and the head and the tail, I think that would look amazing. But other ideas as well, Poison Dark, because obviously it's a very sort of mischievous Pokemon, so Dark would work there. Or Poison Dragon. I feel like it'd be really, really cool to see Arbok not necessarily gain wings or anything, but maybe sort of take on this nice dragonic appearance, and learn you'd be able to use all these dragon moves. I'm pretty sure I learned some anyway, like Dragon Rush and such. But I feel like Poison Dragon would be really, really interesting to see. I would love the idea of it. Obviously this design, as I mentioned, essence shows essence of Poison Fire, which would also be really cool, as you can tell by the design. But just imagine a Poison Dragon one with, maybe its chest turns into sort of like a wing-like appearance. Not that it can fly, but just sort of wing-like. Maybe it would get some little arms, but I think the little arms would look a bit weird. But some sort of dragon-like appearance would look really good. Stat change-wise for Mega Arbok, I would see it as being a really offensive Mega Evolution. So simply having boosts to both physical attack and special attack, so having those boosted nice and high, and only slight boosts for its defenses and its speed, because I can't really see Arbok being that much of a speedy Mega Evolution, so I'd see more of just full power basically for Mega Arbok. I feel like I would just fit it really well. And ability wise, it could carry across Shed Skin as a basic ability, because that Shed Skin's always useful, helps you stop you getting status effects for a long time. Or it could again get a nice powerful ability to boost its power, which is adaptability, which ups the power of stab type moves. So if it was Poison Fire, you get some nice Poison and Fire stabs, so Fire Fang and such. Poison Dark, Bite maybe, and then Poison Fang, and then Poison Dragon. Dragon is just going to be powerful as hell. So I feel like adaptability would be really good if it was going to be like a full, all-out offensive Mega Evolution. The final one I thought of was Poison Touch, which it has a chance to poison the opponent whenever you use a move against them. Because as I mentioned, Mega Arbok most likely would be a physical attacker, I guess, and it would most likely just be dishing damage out all the time. So you'd be the one attacking, so you don't want to be taking attacks and have like Poison Point or something. Poison Touch would just fit very well with this kit, and just using attack after attack, poisoning the opponent to give them something else to worry about, as well as your high attack stat. I feel like it would just be really, really interesting. And I don't know, Mega Arbok is just something I'd love to see. But the last Mega Evolution we'll look at for today, because I want to keep these videos fairly short, like 15 minutes or so, is Mega Raichu. So this is a very Very debated Mega Evolution, because obviously some people are like, yes, they'll give it to it because Pikachu's like the most popular Pokemon in the, the franchise, so why would they not give Mega Raichu a Mega Evolution? But then again, the opposite is true. Okay, they give Raichu a Mega Evolution, but then Pikachu's sort of still like chilling like high, and it might take some away from Pikachu, for example, but I don't know. We'll discuss it anyway. Obviously, Raichu is your pure electric type from Pikachu. What typing would you get from Mega Raichu? Well, one, it could keep, a pure electric type. Two, it could become something like Electric Fairy. Obviously, we have that from Dedenne from Generation 6, but it would be interesting to see a very powerful Electric Fairy type. Or it could gain a physical typing, which might be Electric Fighting, because of like Pikachu Libre, for example. But I'm not too sure which one I'd like to have out of those 3 typings for Mega Raichu. Fairy might work, but then again, Raichu isn't that much of a fairy, so it's a bit of an interesting one there. Stat change wise anyway for Mega Raichu, Special Attack and Special Defense are probably the ones I'd go for, because it makes sense to have it be a fairly bulky special attacker. Speed, maybe get a bit of a boost, but not a huge boost, and obviously physical attack and physical defense maybe get a small boost as well, but mainly in the specials there, because I feel like Mega Raichu would just harmonise with those best. Ability wise, Volt Absorb is one possibility, but then again it's not that useful as of an ability, because no one's going to hit you with an electric movement if they know you have Volt Absorb. The other one I thought of was Competitive, which boosts the special attack stat whenever any of your stats are lowered, so you could use that in your advantage. Obviously it doesn't work for self-lowering, but if you could stay in and get yourself lowered, your stats lowered basically, to raise your special attack stat, and then you just be able to dish out loads of damage. Obviously, if they were going to do Mega Raichu, they might add like a new ability for it. Obviously, any of these Mega Evolutions get new abilities that would work well with them. But I don't know what you do for Mega Raichu really. You can maybe have something like, if you use, if you get a critical hit maybe with an electric type move or a fairy, whatever, with a stab move, it increases your speed or something. I don't know really. Maybe a new ability for that, but I can't really pinpoint what would you do for Mega Raichu. It depends, what sort of direction they'd want to take the Mega Evolution in. But that's Mega Raichu there, and I think that's it for this video. I don't want to make these too long, and I know I go on a lot about Pokemon, so hopefully they won't be too long. Obviously I spoke about it at the start as well, so future videos should be about 15 minutes in length, so 10 to 15 minutes. We'll cover about 5 Pokemon episode, 5 Mega Evolutions per episode. Obviously there's going to be a lot of Mega Evolutions here. I will probably do a video in the coming months saying like, these are Pokemon I definitely expect to get Mega Evolutions in Sun and Moon, and I'll pick them from these videos just to show. But these videos will be the more in-depth ones, talking about, okay, so this is why you might want to do this is why you might want to do that. But I'll do a more general one at some other time, talking about which ones I expect to see. But that is going to be it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed this video and looking forward to see some more Mega Evolution speculation in the future, please let me know by hitting the like button and leave a comment about these Mega Evolutions I've discussed in today's episode. But for now, I hope you had a nice time watching, and I hope you're having a nice day in general. But for now, I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.